If you want to understand why one nation has managed to keep obesity under 5%, while the rest of the developed world spirals past 30%, do not look at their expensive gym memberships or their complicated calorie counting apps. Instead, look at what is sitting on their breakfast table every single morning. Welcome to Seniors Healthy Living, where we explore the secrets to a long and vibrant life. Today, we are uncovering why Japan has the longest life expectancy on the planet and an obesity rate nearly 10 times lower than the United States. And here is the most shocking part. They are not starving themselves. They are not running marathons every weekend. They are eating a very specific combination of foods that quietly reprograms how their bodies store and burn fat at the cellular level. There is one food at the center of all of this that most people in the West will not even touch. Before we reveal this secret, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel and join our community of health-conscious seniors. It is completely free and it helps us bring you more evidence-based health information. Most of us have been taught that staying lean is a simple math equation. Eat less and move more. Count every single calorie and eventually you will lose the weight. But after decades of observing metabolic health, I have seen something that completely contradicts this simplistic advice. Consider a man like Robert from Chicago. Robert tried every low-carb diet and spent hours on the treadmill, but his weight never budged. Meanwhile, people in Japan consume more carbohydrates per capita than almost any other nation. They eat white rice at nearly every single meal. Yet their rates of metabolic syndrome and type 2 diabetes remain among the lowest on Earth. The difference is not how much they eat. It is what they eat alongside those carbohydrates that changes everything. I am Dr. Elizabeth, a researcher specializing in metabolic health and senior wellness. After years of watching patients lose weight only to regain it within a year, I started looking beyond our Western diet culture for real answers. What I found in the research on traditional Japanese dietary patterns was a total paradigm shift. We have been so obsessed with restriction that we have overlooked how certain foods actively tell your fat cells to shrink and your gut bacteria to suppress hunger. In this video, I will walk you through the sticky fermented superfood that can shrink visceral fat cells in weeks. I will show you how a specific compound in green tea activates your body's hidden fat-burning furnace. We will explore the Japanese dietary framework called Ichiju Sansai, which controls portions without you ever needing to count a single calorie. This is not about genetics. It is about 5 specific foods you can start using today. To understand why this works, we must talk about the gut microbiome. Imagine your digestive system is a massive factory floor. You have thousands of workers which are bacteria processing everything you eat. In a healthy factory, the workers are efficient. They extract nutrients and send clear signals to your brain saying that you are full. But in most Western guts, the factory is in total chaos. Years of processed foods and refined sugars have killed off the skilled workers. They have been replaced by bacteria that actually make you hungrier and instruct your body to store more fat, especially around your organs. This is called visceral fat. You cannot see it in the mirror or pinch it with your fingers, but it wraps itself around your liver and pancreas, pumping out chemicals that drive insulin resistance and heart disease. The traditional Japanese diet is perhaps the most powerful gut-optimizing diet on Earth. It is loaded with fermented foods and marine minerals that essentially restock your internal factory with the most efficient workers nature has ever produced. A massive study analyzed 132 countries and found that the more people ate like the Japanese, the lower their obesity rates were. This was true regardless of how wealthy the country was or how many doctors they had. When you eat more fish, more soy, more seaweed, and more vegetables while reducing red meat and dairy, your body begins to function differently. This has massive economic implications as well. In the United States, we spend billions of dollars every year treating chronic diseases that are largely driven by our diet. In Japan, the focus is on prevention through the kitchen. By adopting these habits, we are not just losing weight, but we are reclaiming our health and independence as we age. Let us look at the first mechanism of this metabolic advantage, which is fermentation. The cornerstone of Japanese health is foods like natto and miso. These are not just side dishes. They are biological delivery systems. Natto is made from soybeans fermented with a special bacterium called Bacillus subtilis. In your gut, it increases the ratio of healthy bacteria families. Why does this matter for a senior looking to stay healthy? Because a certain ratio of bacteria has been consistently linked to obesity. When you eat fermented foods, you are tipping the scales back in favor of a lean bacterial profile. Studies have shown that regular intake of these foods significantly reduces fat accumulation around the midsection. It even stops the liver from creating new fat cells. Think of it like this. Regular soybeans are like a locked toolbox. The nutrients are inside, but your body cannot easily get to them. Fermentation is the key that opens that toolbox, releasing enzymes and probiotics that go to work immediately. This is the foundation of a metabolism that stays young even as the years pass by. The science of fermentation is one of the most neglected areas of Western nutrition. For centuries, our ancestors in Europe and the Americas also ate fermented foods like sauerkraut and real sourdough. However, the rise of the industrial food complex in the mid-20th century changed everything. To make food shelves stable and easy to transport, we began pasteurizing everything. We killed the very bacteria that kept our metabolism sharp. In Japan, they have fought to keep these traditional foods at the center of their culture. This is not just a culinary preference, but it is a geopolitical strength. A healthy aging population reduces the burden on the national healthcare system and keeps the economy vibrant. Let us dive deeper into the first mechanism, which is gut microbiome remodeling through fermented soy. When you consume natto, you are not just eating protein. You are ingesting a powerhouse of vitamin K2 and a unique enzyme called nattokinase. For seniors, this is a double victory. Vitamin K2 helps move calcium out of your arteries and into your bones where it belongs. This prevents the hardening of the arteries that often leads to heart disease, while simultaneously strengthening your skeletal structure. In the gut, the Bacillus subtilis bacteria act like expert gardeners. They weed out the harmful bacteria that cause inflammation and plant the seeds for a thriving inner ecosystem. A study published in the Journal of Molecular Nutrition and Food Research found that natto intake significantly reduced visceral fat accumulation. The more the participants ate, the more their internal fat disappeared. It was as if the fermented beans were giving a direct order to the body to burn off the dangerous fat surrounding the organs. The second mechanism we must discuss is the activation of brown fat through catechins. Most people have heard that green tea is healthy, but most people in the West are drinking it wrong. In Japan, tea is not just a beverage, but it is a metabolic tool. They often consume matcha, which is a fine green powder made from the whole leaf. This means you are not just drinking the tea water, but you are ingesting the entire plant. This delivers up to 137 times more of a compound called EGCG compared to a standard cup of steeped tea. Why is EGCG so important for someone over 60? Because it has the incredible ability to activate brown adipose tissue. Most of the fat on our bodies is white fat, which simply stores energy. But we also have a small amount of brown fat. Think of brown fat like a built-in space heater. Its entire job is to burn energy to generate heat. As we age, our levels of brown fat naturally decline, which is one reason why many seniors find it so hard to lose weight and why they often feel cold. EGCG acts as a molecular switch that turns this heater back on. Research from the University of Geneva demonstrated that green tea extract increased 24-hour energy expenditure by 4%. This was not because of the caffeine. When they tested caffeine alone, it had zero effect on the metabolic rate. It was the combination of the specific tea compounds working together that kept the fat-burning switch flipped on. Imagine if you could boost your metabolism by 4% every single day just by changing how you drink your morning tea. Over the course of a year, that small shift adds up to thousands of calories burned without ever feeling like you are on a diet. This is the beauty of the Japanese approach. It is not about a sudden burst of effort, but it is about consistent daily signals that keep the body in a state of balance. In a world where we are constantly marketed expensive weight loss pills and dangerous stimulants, this natural approach is a breath of fresh air. It is about working with your biology instead of trying to force it into submission. Furthermore, the geopolitical impact of tea cannot be overstated. Green tea production is a massive industry that supports rural communities in Japan. By valuing the quality and health benefits of their tea, they have created a sustainable model that rewards health over convenience. In the West, we often choose the cheapest, most processed options available. But as the saying goes, we either pay the grocer now or we pay the doctor later. Investing in high-quality matcha or traditionally made miso is an investment in your future independence. It is about ensuring that you have the energy and vitality to enjoy your golden years to the fullest. Let us also consider the role of dietary fiber in this metabolic puzzle. The traditional Japanese diet is extraordinarily rich in fiber, from seaweed and root vegetables. In our modern Western diet, we have stripped the fiber out of almost everything. We eat white bread and sugary cereals that cause our blood sugar to spike and then crash. This leads to a constant cycle of hunger and fatigue. But in Japan, the fiber acts as a buffer. It slows down the absorption of sugar and feeds the beneficial bacteria in the gut. These bacteria then produce short-chain fatty acids like butyrate. Butyrate is a superhero for your metabolism. It strengthens the lining of your intestines and signals your brain that you are genuinely satisfied. You do not feel like you are white-knuckling your way through a meal. You simply feel full and content. This is the secret to lasting weight loss. It is not about willpower, but it is about biology. When your gut is happy, your brain stops screaming for food. As we move into the third mechanism, we have to talk about the power of the ocean. Japan is an island nation, and their diet reflects a deep connection to the sea. This brings us to the importance of seaweed and fatty fish. For many Americans, seaweed is something they only see wrapping a sushi roll once in a while. But in Japan, seaweed is a staple food eaten multiple times a week. There are many varieties like wakame and kombu, and they all contain a unique compound called fucoxanthin. This is a special type of pigment that is only found in brown seaweed. Studies have shown that fucoxanthin specifically targets visceral fat. It does this by increasing the expression of a protein that turns white fat cells into something that looks and acts like brown fat. This process is called browning. Essentially, it takes the lazy fat cells that just sit there and turns them into active fat-burning cells. Imagine having an army of cells in your body that are working to burn fat even while you are sleeping or reading a book. This is what seaweed can do for you. It also provides a rich source of iodine, which is essential for thyroid health. As we age, our thyroid function can slow down, leading to weight gain and sluggishness. By providing the body with natural iodine from the sea, we support the master gland that controls our entire metabolism. Then we have fatty fish like salmon and mackerel. These are loaded with omega-3 fatty acids, which are vital for heart and brain health. But they also play a critical role in metabolic health. Omega-3s help to reduce inflammation throughout the body. Chronic inflammation is like a low-grade fire that damages your cells and makes them resistant to insulin. When your cells are resistant to insulin, your body has no choice but to store more fat. By eating fatty fish 3 times a week, you are essentially dousing that fire. This allows your metabolism to run smoothly again. For seniors, this also means better joint health and a sharper mind. It is a total body rejuvenation. The economic reality of the global food trade has made it easier for us to buy cheap processed fish sticks than high-quality wild-caught salmon. But we must look at the long-term cost. The traditional Japanese diet focuses on the quality of the ingredients. They understand that the food we eat becomes the literal building blocks of our bodies. If we build our bodies out of processed oils and refined sugars, we cannot expect them to last. If we build them out of the nutrient-dense offerings of the sea, we are giving ourselves the best chance at a long and healthy life. Now let us talk about the structure of the Japanese meal, which is called ichiju sansai. This translates to one soup and 3 sides. In the West, we tend to have one giant plate of food, often dominated by a large portion of meat and a big starch. In Japan, a typical meal consists of a small bowl of rice, a bowl of miso soup, and 3 small side dishes. One might be a piece of grilled fish, another might be some pickled vegetables, and the third might be a small salad of seaweed or boiled greens. This structure naturally creates a plate that is high in fiber and moderate in protein. It encourages you to eat a wide variety of nutrients in one sitting. Because there are so many different flavors and textures, your brain receives a high level of sensory satisfaction. Have you ever noticed that you can eat a giant bag of potato chips and still feel hungry? That is because the chips only provide 1 or 2 sensations. But when you eat a meal with many different components, your brain feels like it has truly eaten a feast, even if the total calories are low. This is a form of natural portion control. You do not need to pull out a scale or a calculator. The structure of the meal does the work for you. For seniors, this is a much more enjoyable and sustainable way to live. Another key principle is harahachibu, which means eating until you are 80% full. This is a cultural habit that starts in childhood. It takes about 20 minutes for the signals of fullness to travel from your stomach to your brain. If you eat until you feel completely stuffed, you have actually overeaten. By stopping when you are just starting to feel satisfied, you give your body time to catch up. By the time those 20 minutes have passed, you feel perfectly comfortable. This simple habit can reduce your daily calorie intake by 15 to 20%, without any feeling of deprivation. It is about mindfulness and respecting the body signals. In the fast-paced Western world, we often eat while driving or watching television. We are disconnected from the act of eating. In Japan, there is a deep respect for the ritual of the meal. This slower pace of eating also aids digestion and allows the gut bacteria to do their job properly. When we are stressed and rushing, our bodies go into fight or flight mode, which shuts down digestion and promotes fat storage. By sitting down and enjoying a balanced meal, we are sending a signal of safety to our nervous system. This allows our metabolism to function at its peak. It is a beautiful example of how culture and biology work hand in hand to create health. Now that we understand the science and the philosophy, let us talk about the practical steps you can take starting today. I want to give you the exact foods and preparation methods that will yield the best results. First, let us talk about natto. You can find this in the frozen section of most Asian grocery stores. It has a very unique texture and a strong smell that some people find challenging at first. But remember, this is the most powerful fat-fighting food in the Japanese arsenal. The traditional way to eat it is with a bit of soy sauce and mustard mixed into a bowl of warm rice. If you are adventurous, give it a try for breakfast. The bacteria are incredibly hardy and will survive the journey through your stomach acid to reach your gut alive. Next is matcha green tea. When you buy matcha, look for ceremonial grade powder. This is the highest quality and contains the most antioxidants. To prepare it, whisk 1 or 2 teaspoons into water that is heated to 175 degrees. Do not use boiling water because extreme heat will destroy the delicate catechins. A great tip for seniors is to add a squeeze of lemon. The vitamin C in the lemon can increase the absorption of the tea compounds by up to 6 times. However, avoid adding cow milk. The proteins in dairy bind to the healthy compounds and prevent your body from absorbing them. If you like a creamy tea, use a plant-based milk like almond or soy instead. Miso soup is another daily essential. The key here is to find unpasteurized miso paste. If it has been pasteurized, the beneficial bacteria have been killed. You want the live cultures? To make the soup, simply dissolve a tablespoon of miso into warm water or a light broth. Just like with the tea, do not boil the miso or you will lose the probiotic benefits. You can add seaweed and tofu to make it a more substantial snack or side dish. 1 bowl a day is all you need to start restocking your gut factory with healthy workers. We must also mention the importance of pickled vegetables or tsukimono. These are different from the pickles you find on a supermarket shelf, which are often just soaked in vinegar and sugar. Traditional Japanese pickles are fermented in rice bran and are teeming with lactobacillus bacteria. These small side dishes provide a continuous supply of beneficial microbes throughout the day. You can also try replacing some of your white rice with a blend of rice and barley. Barley is very high in a type of fiber that feeds the bacteria that produce butyrate. Even a small change, like using a 70-30 ratio of rice to barley, can make a big difference in your metabolic health. I want to warn you about some common mistakes that I see people make. The first is inconsistency. Your gut microbiome is like a garden. You cannot just water it once and expect everything to grow. It takes 4 to 8 weeks of consistent effort to truly restructure your internal ecosystem. Do not give up if you do not see a change on the scale in the first few days. Focus on how you feel. Are you less bloated? Do you have more energy? Is your brain fog lifting? These are the first signs that your metabolism is healing. The second mistake is relying on supplements instead of whole foods. It is very tempting to just buy a pill that contains green tea extract or nattokinase. But science shows that the whole food is always superior. When you eat the actual food, you are getting a complex matrix of fiber and minerals that work together in ways that a single pill cannot replicate. A supplement is like a photocopy of 1 page of a book, while the whole food is the entire story. Stick to the real thing whenever possible. Finally, do not let the scale be your only measure of success. As we age, muscle mass becomes incredibly important. If you are eating more protein and fiber and your waist is shrinking but your weight stays the same, you are actually doing great. You are losing the dangerous visceral fat and maintaining your strength. Use a measuring tape to check your waist circumference once a week. This is a much better indicator of your metabolic health and your risk for heart disease. In the grand scheme of things, our health is our greatest wealth. In Japan, they have a term called ikigai, which means your reason for being. For many seniors, their ikigai is spending time with their grandchildren or pursuing a lifelong hobby. To do those things, we need a body that is strong and a mind that is sharp. By adopting these simple dietary habits, we are not just trying to look better in our clothes. We are protecting our ability to live a full and meaningful life. The global shift toward processed convenience foods has been a disaster for public health, but it is not a path we have to stay on. We have the power to choose what goes on our plates every single day. We can choose the wisdom of the past over the marketing of the present. We can choose foods that nourish our gut and ignite our metabolism. Your body is a miraculous system that wants to be healthy. It is not broken. It is just waiting for the right signals. Start sending those signals today with a bowl of miso soup or a cup of high-quality matcha. Your future self will thank you. If you found this information helpful, please share this video with a friend or family member who might be struggling with their health. We are on a mission to help seniors everywhere live their best lives through science-backed nutrition. Thank you for being part of the Seniors Healthy Living community. I will see you in the next video where we will continue to explore the secrets of longevity and wellness. Stay healthy and stay vibrant.